Welcome to SIT Open House. And especially this room is for session of a digital supply chain. Right? As you mentioned, digital supply chain is relatively a new program. Right? This is an overview of program curriculum structure. You can see SIT, we are running trimesters. That means every year we have 3 trimesters. That's why you can graduate earlier, right? But in between, the price is you have a shorter break, or 3-4 weeks break. However, we design this curriculum structure in a way every year, right? You may have a chance to be attached to industry, right? For integrative workplace learning or integrated work study program. So you can see the yellow color, every year you may have a chance. Of course, first year, you may have a choice, right? If you feel you need to focus on the theory more, right, you still can choose to study in school. So here are some examples of modules and categories. As I mentioned, under supply chain management, right, we have modules like fundamentals of supply chain management, supply chain operations, warehouse transportation system, supply chain 4.0. In the second year, we have supply chain solutions, right? Design, e-commerce, logistics, and demand and inventory planning. Right? Then third year, cyber security, cyber physical digital twins in supply chain, and the risk management and operation research. So this is about supply chain areas. We also have ICT, right, area. This category, we have fundamental of ICT, right, modules, right? For example, introduction of a computer system, programming fundamentals, web system technology, object-oriented programming. In the second year, go for introduction to software engineering, cyber security fundamentals, and the machine learning. Yeah, some students be worried about the challenge of ICT modules, but if you notice, we actually include all those fundamental modules. You can see introduction level at the fundamental level, right? And of course, we also, in the third year, we have Internet of Things and data analytics. Then we also have engineering, business, and sustainability category. In this category, in the first year, we have business accounting. Then the second year, we have system project management. We have sustainability measurements, sustainability management, because this is also a booming area we are incorporating, right? And also have system modeling and simulation, and sustainability project and the requirement engineering and system architecture. Then, just I mentioned about the attachment, right, every year. These are covered under here under integrative workplace learning and work study. We call it integrated workplace learning under the first year. Second year onwards is the integrated work study program, so-called RWSP. Then we also have projects, right? First year we have integrative team project, social innovation project in the second year, and the final year we have a capstone project. And we are also building the so-called supply chain living lab through the partners collaboration. Through this collaboration, you can see our students, right, not only do projects within school labs, we are engaging industry partners through these living labs. For example, we define the long-term, right, collaboration agreement with the companies. Here are just some examples of key partners. We define the research agreement in terms of 2 years, even 4 years, leading to even industry master and doctorate. Actually, these opportunities, even for our graduate students, can pursue further study, right? Of course, this industry master and doctorate program also open to company employees. So we do have a company employee even participate into this program. So through these problem statements, right, defined for long term, our training, right, of education also use all these as use cases. That means you already can be trained through this applied research project, right? Work together with our industry partners to solve real world industry problems. Wang Kongyun, he will give us a talk, right? He's the Senior Supply Chain Director of Infineon Technology Asia Pacific. He will give a talk on sustainability enabled by resilient digital supply chain from VUCA to BANI. Let's welcome, right, Kongyun to give this talk.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Professor David for inviting me for this session. So I'm from industry, I'm from Infineon Technologies. Anybody who is familiar with Infineon Technologies? You could raise your hand. One person. So yeah, we are not very famous, largely because we are not the ones that produce things like this, right? Or cameras and things like that. We are semicon. So in a semicon world, we produce what we call chips. The small little devices that go into, for example, big things like this, right? It goes into cars and etc. So I think you might be more familiar with things like Intel. So you always buy a laptop, you see Intel inside, right? So Intel is actually a semicon. Right, so they are more successful in their branding and therefore a bit more well-known than us. We are not in the same space as Intel. Basically, we are in the space of power. For the aspiring students here, if you are sitting here in this room, you probably want to know more about supply chain, right? And I'll talk about supply chain in the semicon world of things there behind. So feel free to raise your question if you have any, because I think this is a big decision, right? Especially you take the first step in your career. First, you need to choose the right school. Right, so I think the digital supply chain of SIT has a very interesting combination. My personal opinion, I've been engaging with SIT since last year. So, I mean, what is attractive about their program to me is simply this word, digital supply chain. So if I get it right, so about 50% of the course are about IT, infocom related knowledge. So I guess you're going to be learning about programming and stuff like that. And the other half of it will be supply chain, right? In today's workplace, I'll say over the last 2 years, Infineon has been hiring a lot of data scientists, a lot of business analysts and things like that, right? So largely because the buzzword for the last couple of years is about digital transformation. How every company needs to get onto the bandwagon of transforming their processes into a more digital process. Not that this digital process is something new. I don't think it's new. So maybe the predecessor is a lot about automation, using more equipment to get things done. So the fun part about digitalization now is companies are looking into how now with automation, where you're going to get a lot of data from your machines, right? Once you have machines automation, you get a lot of data because you have sensors. So the big question is, when you have all this data, how do you now do data mining, right? Transform the data into something that is meaningful for the company to exploit or to improve your processes, right? So a lot of these are actually coming in this end of the digitalization, right? So visualization of your data and you applying machine learning. You can just call me Kwang Yong. I'm the Corporate Supply Chain Senior Director. Those countries I mentioned are the focus areas, but throughout my career of 25 years, I've been fortunate. I've been to a lot of Asia countries over time, also to some of the European countries. So largely Infineon is the MNC, headquartered in Germany, Munich. To me, the most important thing is, in terms of career, if you want to join an industry, so ask yourself, right, what is the goal rate of this industry in general? I think this is quite important, right? So maybe you don't want to join an industry where the revenue is dropping. Every year is lower and lower. To me, if I were to give an analogy, it's like, getting onto a sinking ship. This is probably not what you want to do. But what you want to do is maybe get into a ship that is actually getting bigger over time. Right, so this is actually a semicon growth rate. This is from Deloitte, the consultant company. So you can see the overall semiconductor industry is always on an upward path. Maybe what is challenging is that, this is a growth industry with significant short-term fluctuations. So like any industry, we are kind of part of the global economy, so things are up and down. So from the moment now, things are a bit slowing down, getting a bit because of all the influences that's going on, right? But also you can see that there are big dips in the industry. The key reason behind this is because we are at the very front of the whole supply chain. You can term that our products are components. So we sell our chips to next tier customer, but this tier customer are not like BMW or Mercedes or Toyota, right? They are being sold to Bosch, and maybe the supplier of Bosch. Then Bosch will buy some of these manufactured products that they put into, let's say, their engine brake unit, right? And Bosch then will sell to somebody else, and before they sell to like BMW or Mercedes. So because we are right at the front of the supply chain, so the fluctuation is much greater. So this is what we call the buoy effect of supply chain, right? But nevertheless, this is where the supply chain of the semicon gets really fun because you have the fluctuations up and down, right? How do you manage the fluctuations when it's down? How do you manage the fluctuation when it's going up? Okay, that was a global picture. This was the picture for Infinite, internal. Just use COVID period to highlight. So during the COVID period, when the COVID strikes, right, the green line that you see here, the dark green line that you see here, this is the picture of our demand for us, right? So suddenly with the COVID period, because everything gets stopped, factories is not producing, we see a big dip in our demand. Okay, you can see that the factor of drop is almost like 70% decrease in demand. So how as a company are we going to make use of this situation to get better, right? When your business has 70% gone away. Then right into the second year of the COVID, suddenly we see a big wave coming in. So the big wave coming in is largely because as people begin to work from home, what do? Just buy more laptops, buy more iPad, buy more monitors, buy whatsoever, right? So in order to enable the family to work from home. So we see this big demand that's coming in immediately. So from 1 year to the next year, we see this big fluctuation. And a lot of these are actually quite similar to a lot of the semicon industry. I talk about digitalization. So the AI base is coming in. So a lot of our digitalization process today, we look at RPAs, robotic process automations, to automate the things that our IT colleagues don't automate for us, RPA. We are putting in chatbot. We have created the first chatbot, but unfortunately, ChatGPT comes around. So we had to redo our chatbot because our chatbot is not as smart as the ChatGPT. So we have our first version of ChatGPT using the logic from OpenAI, right? So then all this will be within the company. You want to search for information, then it's quite easily provided by ChatGPT. The rest are about lead time processing. So these are some of the key enablers we say that will help us grow into the future. If you look at analytics, why I'm putting some of the slides here, because if you are here, I think you are interested in digital supply chain. And this is largely how we, as a company, Infineon, right, we will look at what are the so-called analytics we look at in the future. Because to us, there are 4 levels of analytics. Descriptive, basically, it's like a picture. So I hope that gives you a quick understanding of supply chain itself.